I know you got some to spare. We've been fighting feeling when it's obvious that we both care. So taking me to the moon, I wanna be stars. Send me into orbit. Oh, send me into orbit.
Hey, y'all ready to take off this evening? Welcome to another edition of the Sensual Eccentric podcast. We are at episode 6. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, seis. Wait, did I just miscount? Wait a minute. Look, I know how to count. Let me do that one more time. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. See, I told y'all last week, I think I'm having neurological problems. Look, six. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. I don't know why 5 is getting mixed up in my brain, and 6. This is episode 6 of the Sensual Eccentric podcast. Welcome. We have a wonderful topic tonight for y'all. Ooh, I told y'all we was going to get into some sensual, like sexy, like freaky shit sooner or later. And tonight is not really sexual or freaky, but we are talking about lust and longing. Is there a difference between lusting and longing? What y'all think? So the topic is to lust is to learn is to lust is to long. Neither one is wrong. That's my opinion. Because to lust after something, to long for something, why would that be wrong? Now, we could get into the religious aspects of things like that, but I'm not religious. But if we were to look at it from a religious standpoint and say lusting is sinful, what is a sin? You're not hurting anybody just for desiring them in a sexual manner. I think that needs to be done away with. I'm pretty sure all of the Christian people and Bible readers and Bible believers and people that are trying to make it to heaven will disagree with me, and that is okay. But in my opinion, there is no difference as lusting and longing. And it's not wrong. To have a deep desire just means that you crave something, you want it. It could be important to you. Um, it's so much to be said right there. Um, Desires are natural. Let's start there. So if it's natural to desire something, how or why is it a sin? Why do we have desires if it's wrong? I'm just saying. Um, so I said all that to say when we long for something, when we desire something, when we crave it, it's like it's this yearning. Hey, my heart is yearning for your love. What's wrong with yearning for someone? Um, as long as we're not harming them, as long as we're not being disrespectful. And this is in the aspect when it comes to people, because you can long and yearn for other things other than people. It doesn't have to be sexual. But when it comes to people, as long as we're not being disrespectful, as long as we're not harming anybody or going against their wishes, what's wrong with a little like dirty desire? Like, oh, it's just so raunchy. But I'm a bad girl or a good girl, depending on how you look at it. So I'm into the dirty desires. It never bothered me one. Well, not never, but it don't bother me now, and it sure doesn't. It's not putting me in harm's way or a bad way in life. There are so many other things that are more harmful than lust. Now, sexual lust can drive us to some unhealthy habits if we don't have self control. Now, that is a big thing. Um, I do believe it's okay to be lustful or to lust as long as you have self control over that lust. You can't be lusting and then just willy nilly just being what's the word I'm looking for, not a good steward over your mind and your body. You feel me? um let's see some examples that we can long for things. We can long for a certain type of job or position in a job. That is something that's non-sexual that we can long for. And remember, we're talking about lusting and longing, like the fine line between it. And it's not wrong. We can long for success. Um, and abundance. We can long for love, like affection, companionship. Now, that's not sexual, but it's in the affectionate box, so to speak. Something else we can long for. Um, and longing is the same as a deep desire. We can deeply desire change. Have you ever longed for change in your life? Let me put my phone on do not disturb. This is why I never take my phone off do not disturb. So when I do important things like this, I don't have to remember. Um, But have you ever had a deep desire for change? It's like stuff in your life ain't the way that it is. And it's just, I have this deep longing, this desire to change. This ain't working. I need this to change drastically. Like I feel it in my soul. I crave it. It's like I need it so bad. It's almost like life or death. That's a longing. Um, what is something else? We can have a longing for it, like when we're, I feel a sneeze. Excuse me, that was a little cute sneeze. Achoo. um we can have a longing for something as simple as wanting something to eat. It doesn't have to be a big craving, but let's see. Something I have been longing for, I have been wanting some banana pudding since about the month of September, October, something like that. And I have not made it because of all of the calories, and I'm, watching what I'm eating and just want to slim down and get a lot sexier, in my opinion, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder and all of that good stuff. But I definitely want to slim down some. So when I think about that banana pudding that I'm longing for, and when I tell y'all I really have been desiring banana pudding, oh my gosh. Mm, mm, mm. It's such a deep desire. But I have been having self control and discipline. So I have not indulged, let alone overindulged in the banana pudding. But I'm going to get me some banana pudding soon. Like, if I have to walk it off, dance it off, uh work it off some other kind of way in some activities, if you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna get me some doggone banana pudding because I've been desiring it, longing for so long. When you long for something, you're not satisfied until you get it. That ain't wrong. I'm just saying. That's me. Usually it will ask me about the comments. I'm not seeing any comments. Let me stop touching on stuff before I F up something. Cause yeah. But is there someone in the chat? I don't want to ignore anybody. I usually can see the comments and whenever people pop in. So if anybody is in the chat, hello, thank you for tuning in. I am so glad that you decided to join me this evening. The topic is to lust is the same as to long, and neither one is wrong. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about that. Has anybody ever made you feel like it was wrong to lust? Do you personally, without perhaps nobody has made you feel that way, and you just feel like, ooh, it's something bad about it. Like it just you feel like a bad boy. Do you feel like a bad girl when you lust? I was on a social media platform one time, and I posted something in my stories, if I'm not mistaken, and somebody commented. If I'm not mistaken, it was I think it was something at the White House when Barack Obama was the president, and Kiara Sheard was singing. If I'm not mistaken, Yolanda Adams was singing, and a couple other gospel singers. And he commented on the what did I just say? It was on the story, and he was like, he said something about, I feel so bad because, I'm so attracted to them. And I don't know if he used the word lust. I can't say that. And I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he apologized as if he was doing something wrong just because he felt an attraction to what he said, his someone of the clergy. They're they're human, they're desirable. I Me personally, call me crazy, it won't be the first time. But people are people. No one is greater than the other. We give people this pedestal like they shouldn't be looked at a certain way, but they're adults. Let's start there. Fully grown, over the age of 25, over the age of 30, grown ass adults. If you find them attractive, you find them attractive. If they sexy, they sexy. So what? They sing hallelujah, praise the Lord. That mean they can't be sexy. So, and I'm gonna be blunt when I say this. So your dick ain't supposed to get hard because somebody is a praise team leader. Like I said, call me crazy. It wouldn't be the first time. I'm just saying. But finding someone attractive is natural. I can't see that's wrong. If anybody has a difference of opinion, please share it because I would love to hear your perspective, maybe gain a different understanding and learn something from the perspective that you have that differentiates from my own. But for me, longing for something can be a beautiful thing. Um, Even when it comes to lust, if we want to use the other L word, to lust, it's something. a bit invigorating about it is the fact that we can actually feel those kinds of feelings is exciting to me. Maybe I'm just the weirdo because, I don't consider myself human. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, so certain things that human beings, you know, the way you guys operate, I'm different. I'm celestial. I'm ethereal. It doesn't apply to me. I'm just saying. She's strange and I like it. But yeah, those are some examples of things that you can long for that are non sexual. Let me see if I can um, think of something else. Like when you're missing a friend, you can long to see your best friend. Like, it's interesting that that just came up as an example because I do have a couple people that I long to see that I haven't seen in a while. Um, and because the longing is not a sexual longing, it's not lustful, but there are times and there are certain people that I get this longing and this lustful feeling for that it's like, yeah, I want you. Like I want what I want. And it's not wrong. I'm just saying. Um, I ain't gonna get off too deep into that. Not on screen by myself. We'll see what happens if somebody joins the chat or something like that. But yeah, I I lust a lot. Um, I'm a sex goddess. Um, sex slash love because they're congruent to one another. And for me, lusting, longing, deep desires are natural. Um, it's what I'm made of. Um, there is a certain amount of human interaction and intimacy that I need in order to like fulfill me, uh, feed me, so to speak, pour into me, sustain me, nourish me. Because if you're connecting with the right people and doing it correctly, it it is very sustainable. It is very nourishing. That's a whole nother topic. We'll get into that sometime in some future episodes of the podcast for sure. But for me, lusting is healthy. Like I said, as long as you're not harming anybody or disrespecting anybody um, or dishonoring anybody, then what the heck? So let's look at how you can dishonor somebody with lust. Um, if someone was to express to someone your lustful desires, your sexual desires towards them, and they say, "Hey, I'm not cool with that. I'd rather for you not to talk about me." And in that way, I understand that you feel the way that you feel, but it makes me uncomfortable. And I, I don't want you to speak like that about me publicly. You dishonor them when it's dishonorable and disrespectful if you go against what they have expressed to you about being uncomfortable and not liking it and asking you not to do so if you continue, especially if it's somebody you care about. That's the dishonorable part. It's just disrespectful when it's somebody that you don't personally know. But let's say you have a personal relationship with someone and you've expressed them to expressed this particular thing to them. They have in return expressed what they expressed to you. Like, please don't do that. And you still just frolicking around telling everybody how you feel. And but that's the lack of self-control and no discipline. But when you have a personal relationship with them, it dishonors them because you personally know them. So, like, how you gonna do that to somebody that's like kind of like in your inner circle or somebody that you care about? Have your feelings, but you ain't gotta talk about it if they've asked you not to. Why you can't keep that to yourself? Why would you want to dishonor and disrespect somebody that is close to you or somebody that cares about you, and potentially sabotage the relationship, the friendship that you guys have? That's how you can dishonor somebody, um, with your lustful conversation or your lustful thoughts. It's disrespectful if, um, you continue to make advances when they have said, I ain't with that. Like, don't be out there doing that. Like, don't be out there doing that. That's, as we say in Chicago, that's bodine. Like, you bogus as fuck for that. Um, so dishonorable, disrespectful. Um, what was the other one? I can't think of the other one right now. But yeah, we can't be out here going against people's wishes and feelings if something makes them uncomfortable. I believe there is a comment. I don't know how can I get to the point where, let's see, is that gonna be it? Dun 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 dun. Trying to see if I can see the comments. Uh oh gosh, let me stop. I'm doing too much. Hopefully y'all can still see me and I ain't effed up nothing. Okay. I'm just not gonna touch anything anymore. That comment is not coming up for me and I don't know how to make it come up. Can you tell me how to be able to see the comments in the chat? I usually see it, but this week I'm not seeing.
All right, everybody, hold on. She'll be back. So the comment from Power My Poetry is from Mr. Smalls. Mr. Smalls, thank you for coming through. It says the presence of desires urges is not inherently negative. Rather, exercise of self-control is paramount. So yes, you have to have self-control. That is definitely paramount. I definitely understand it as well. Um, Also, Grizz came through earlier. Salute to you, Grizz. I'm glad that you came in here. Salute to you. Salute to everybody that's on here as well. Definitely appreciate you all. But yeah, I am waiting for Galaxy Venus to come back. Um, I might have to. I don't think I have to resend her the link. I think she knows how to join or rejoin back. Okay, there she go. All right, let me add her right back in here.
I'm back. Goodness, I told y'all I need to stop touching stuff, but
You good? You good? You good?
I want to be able to see the comments. Oh my gosh. Okay. Um yeah, because I don't have anybody to read the comments for me. So if I can't see them, then there's no way for them to get read. And I don't know why I'm not able to see them. But hello to everybody that is here. Y'all forgive my fuck ups, please, because I'm a lot special sometimes. We are talking about the subject this evening is to lust is the same as to long. Neither one is wrong. How y'all feel about that? Like, Y'all in the chat, please come up because I can't see the freaking comments. And it ain't because I can't physically see, like, they're not on my screen. So they're not on my screen tonight. I don't know what's going on. But I want to know how y'all feeling, what y'all thinking. What's to this lusting and longing thing, other than the difference of the sexual aspect of it? And even when it comes to the sexual aspect
Hold
of
on,
it,
sis. Hold on. I'm just trying to verify, I guess. Um, Go on to verify yourself, family. Hello?
Yeah, what's happening?
G Moore?
Yeah,
I recognize that voice. I know who that is. You see the smile on my face. He's good. There's in my mystical voice, that's the man's right there. The man's right here. You know, I got jokes for days. Hello, Mr. Moore. How are you, dear?
hey dear, how are you? I just lost track of time. I saw I was missing out, so I just popped in.
I appreciate you. Thank you, my love. Tonight we are talking about the subject is to lust is the same as to long. Neither one is wrong. And I had mentioned that there's a fine line between lusting for something and longing for something. Uh, they're both one and the same for me. The only difference is when it comes to lust in particular, it's more of a sexual desire and a sexual nature. But you can long for someone intimately and passionately as well. So those were the things, some of the things that I had brought up. Um, is that Jamal in the chat that has joined? What up? What up? What up? It's good to see you. You've been missing in action for a couple of weeks. I've been waiting on you. You mute.
My bad. I've been working on a lot of things. I've been working on a lot of things. So just to get a synopsis, I don't want to take up too much time. I'm actually working on a short film that I'm working on trying to get edited. I'm planning on shooting another film, and I'm also very slowly learning how to write a novel. So, and I'm a father. So.
I figured you've been busy. I say you be having your hands mixing so many things. Like how many cakes he over there baking up? so they can eat over there.
Pretty much.
It's good to see you though. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you so much whenever you can be here.
Yes, ma'am. No, I feel like this is an interesting topic. I never thought about that like that.
How do you feel about it though? Like as far as lusting and longing, like I think the only reason people say lusting is wrong is due to religion. Other than religion saying that is wrong, it's like, what is the big deal? But for me, because it's natural, it's a desire. I was saying previously, as long as you're not harming anybody, as long as you're not disrespecting anybody or going against anybody's wishes, what is wrong with a little desire? Like, what? It's natural. Like, it's going to happen.
Yeah. Because I was actually listening to you earlier on my way home. Basically, you was desiring a lesson over banana pudding or banana pie or something like that. I was like, I desired to be in my career and have my own car right now.
And see, when you think about it, like that deep desire, like when you want it, when you gotta have it, when it's so like essential to a part of your life at that particular time, in your life, there's this deep desire, this longing, and it's like, ooh, I gotta have it. So when it comes to sexual desires, and I'm not gonna say of the opposite sex because some people are not attracted to the opposite sex. So, but when it comes to like passions and intimacy, the same longing that we can have for something that is non-intimate, if it's not wrong over there, then it shouldn't be wrong over here. I'm just saying. But call me crazy because I'm an oddball and a weirdo. Mr. Moore, you have anything to say about that?
I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Are you saying that it's the same thing?
There's a very thin line between lusting and longing because they both fall under the umbrella of desire. That's all it is.
Does lust, just by definition, have to do with sexual desire?
If I'm not mistaken, I did actually look up the definition of lust, and they did put it under sexual desire. But I personally believe that we can lust after other things.
I got somebody at my door, so hold on a second.
I do believe that we can lust after other things, though, and that's the thing. Like, it doesn't have to, in my opinion, just be narrowed down to sexual desires. I don't think it is. There's such a broad view and a broad perspective when it comes to certain things. I'm trying to think of an example of something. I gave some earlier, but I was giving it in the example of longing, of non-sexual desires that we can lust. Or maybe it is just sexual.
I mean,
go ahead.
I was saying, because I know lusting a lot of times, like I said, it's primarily under like I'm lusting, longing to have multiple women or something like that, or not me in particular, but a person can have like multiple women, or longing to do something sexual to another woman in a certain place or something like that, or another man or whatever. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So this is what I'm getting right now. To lust is to long. So when you're lusting after something, you're longing for it. But when you're longing for something, it's not necessarily lust. You feel me?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Say that again.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because like for me, like earlier, I think I put in the comment too. I'm like, I just said in the comment, I am longing to have another lifestyle.
So when you say that, you're saying it's a deep desire, like you really, really crave it, like you want this badly, like
I dream about it every day. I dream to have a different type of lifestyle.
That is definitely a longing. So what I was saying is when we lust, it's automatically a longing because it's a deep desire. But when we're having a deep desire, if it's not sexual, then it's not automatically lust. So lust is automatically longing, but longing is not lusting. That's the revelation I just had.
Yeah, the English language is very interesting. I just feel like certain words only mean certain things, but there are certain words that mean multiple different things, or half the time we can actually create the meaning for another word.
Absolutely. I saw a comment pop up, but I am not able to read it. If you see the comment, can you do you mind reading the comments for me, please?
Let me see. What? Was it King Rooster? Was it King Rooster on 38? 3410.
It's up on the screen right now, but I'm not able to see it. So if can you see what's on the screen right now? What's highlighted?
Oh, it's highlighted. Longing for something or someone can be like homesickness. You getting along. You're getting along to go home back to your family, but you know the area does not provide the stability, so you stay where you are.
Read the first part for me again, just the first part of that.
Uh, Longing for something or someone can be like homesickness or getting along.
Longing
Can
for
be like
something to
homesickness.
be like, okay, that is a great point because when you desire something that is going to fulfill you, that's going to nourish you, I see what they're saying, and I agree with that. It's like home and wanting to go home and have that security and that safety of being at peace, so to speak.
Mhm.
So I totally get that. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your comment, beloved. Um, if you desire to join the panel, you are definitely welcome to do
Desire.
so.
Hello, hello,
I like the way you
hello,
did that.
people. Hello, my people. But
Hello, Habari.
the comment was saying, I'm good, and I hope everybody else is good and fine and Danny and well. And I hope my
Can
mic
you
come good.
introduce yourself for
The
me,
com-
sweetheart, please?
I'm the King Rooster. It is I. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of well known in these spaces. You know what I'm saying? Liked and loved by most and hated by many. You know what I'm saying? I do what I do. You know what I'm saying? No control. I'm not a content creator. I just speak my mind and I just point out uh, what's true and what's false in my reality. You know what I'm saying? And I live outside. You know what I'm saying? I go outside daily, touch grass. So with that comment, okay, the topic is longing for something and lusting for something. My idea of longing for something, when you longing for something, it can be the idea of it was something that you obtained one point in time in your life, and then you separated yourself from it, or it departed from you, and then by the loss of that throughout the separation, you are eager to go back to it, but you cannot obtain it due to the circumstances. So by being separated from you, and you cannot obtain it due to it can be circumstances to where it ain't something that you can just make a decision and get back to on your own. So you can be longing for a person. Hey, when I had you, you didn't act right, and I'm scared to get back in that situation. So you can long for that person, and you can say, "Oh, I wish I had done this, and I wish I had done that." But you longing for them. But you know what I'm saying? You longing for that. It can be a situation like you know that you come from in an impoverished area, but you have a mathematical mind and you have to know it all and you have the reading writing capabilities and skill, but you love to be down with your kin folks, but the lifestyle does not provide what you need to sustain the type of living. So you long to go back, you'll visit, and then due to the prices of living, you'll say, man, I wish I can go back down there where grandmama and them had the house and the land and everything. I'm longing for that peace and quiet, but if I go down there, I have to change in my life. And you longing for the peace and serenity, but you lust for the city. I like to be able to get up in the middle of the night and get me some chicken and waffles all night. You lust for hey, if they put me on night shift, I can always party in the day. You know what I'm saying? Because it's things open. You know what I'm saying? You lusting, or even lust with a person. Okay. You got men and women that have wives and family and children, but guess what? Uh, Papa Bear got a big belly. He don't exercise, but you go to the gym and use your gym membership, and you see, oh, he kind of remind me of Papa Bear, but he kind of cute. Let me, you lusting on him. Let me sneak me a picture of this nigga. And I ended up, now you, hey, you lusting. So long and lust is they there is a thin line between it, but they far apart. Longing and lusting is a different thing. When you lust for someone or you lust for a certain thing, somewhere deep down in your mindset, you know that you are seeking the pleasure from it, knowing that it ain't good for you. Can I get an amen?
Now, I do not personally believe that when we lust for something, it means that it's not good for us. Um, I believe that we can lust in a healthy way because lust is it's desire. And when you have control over your desire, when you are what's the word I'm looking for? I used it or disciplined in your lust, then it's just a feeling, no different than any other feeling. No different from when you feel sad. If you can control your sadness and it doesn't overtake you, then being sad is not a bad thing. Um,
But
but something came to me when you were talking about longing, and longing is the absence of something that you desire, and lusting is the desire of something that you are craving. And that's where they differentiate.
but okay, with the lust part, well, look, some people long for a fast car. Never drove a bicycle at 25 miles per hour. You know what I'm saying? Could that be lust? They lusting for something that they have not attained or achieved. So that's why I say it's kind of close, but it's far away from each other. It depends on the mindset of the human. You know what I'm saying? It depends on the mindset of the human. But the whole thing is the lust can kind of be dangerous because a lot of times you get to liking something knowing that it's, and you'll look at it and you say, I need that, I need that, I need that, knowing that in your conscious mind that it's not good for you. So that's why I go off the lust thing. Lust is a bad thing in my mindset.
Okay.
You see what I'm
we
saying? You know it's not good for you.
Absolutely. What I mentioned earlier is when we lust after something, we're automatically longing for it. That's the connection between what lust is and what longing is. But when you long for something, it's not necessarily lust, because lust is more of it's narrowed down to an intimate, passionate, sexual desire. But they both are desires. I believe that a person can long for something and it be unhealthy. You can long so much for companionship to where you do anything to have companionship and you make irrational decisions, because you're desperate to have somebody or something close to you. It doesn't have to be lustful. It doesn't have to be like, okay, I want to be intimate. So I disagree personally that um, lust is unhealthy and longing is not. Too much of anything is not good. When there's no balance, when there's no self control, it can it can lead to some not so great stuff.
So, see, well, let me show you about the word usage. Okay, When you lust for something, that can be a figment of your imagination, a journey you have never embarked on. But when you long for something, that's something, whether it may be whatever it is that you are dealing with or something that you want to deal with in the future. See, the longing part of it is something that you lost. You had it before, you obtained it, you achieved it, and you had it in your grasp, and you lost it. So you long for that same situation. But the lust is a figment of your imagination. That's something that you concoct in your own mind and condition your mind to say, I want this, I need this. And then when everybody in the circle asks you, have you ever had it? No, I have not ever had it, but I want it. So that's the lust part of it. Lust ain't got nothing to do with what you done deal with. I can lust for crab legs, seafood, and everything. But shit, if I never cracked the crab leg, you know what I'm saying? I can't long for it because I never tasted it. I never had that sweet taste. I can lust for it because everybody say it's good. That's just like that old fine man down the block that everybody say on the or the Denzel Washington. Women lust for that type of man. Oh, he's good in his career. He's a magnificent actor, but they have never obtained him. So that'll be a lust. The person that will long for him is if he goes away. If you say, I'm done with this marriage, I'm leaving you, woman. It wasn't that, and she can't obtain him again. She's been there. She's been on the journey with him. She embarked on that right there. So it'll be a longing situation with her saying, baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. It's that type of stuff right there. You cannot long for anything you have never attained. You can only lust for it.
I hear your perspective, but I do not agree. I totally see where you're coming
Fine,
from.
you know.
But the thing is, because they're both desire. Desire is desire. So is when you're dealing with desire, it's one and the same. The only thing is the only difference for me is lusting is more of a sexual um, desire, and longing is the desire for anything that you have a deep desire for. So yeah, but I get it though. I see what you're saying. Does anybody else have anything to to um to add to expound on when it comes to that?
So yes, I'm not expanding on the topic. I'm just playing on the comments, and I'm letting everybody know the topic is about lust and whether it's a natural desire or kind of people's perception on it. And y'all kind of embark on how y'all feel, and Galaxy Venus will let you know. What I mean, with how she want, with her talking points on things of that nature. Y'all can pick it up from there. Oracle, yes, you can join. The link is pinned in the chat. It's the only thing that's pinned there, so that is the link. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody that's in the comments and everybody else. At the moment, YouTube and StreamYard is acting funky. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. But that's why I'm up here because I know there's certain things that's going on in the background. But YouTube been having things going funky for the last like week or so. They had like a stoppage completely, like a week or so ago. So yeah, anybody can join. The link is pinned in the chat. It's the thing that's pinned up top. So definitely come through if y'all want to. All right. Shout out to Smitty, aka Lighthouse. Yes, it is an interesting show, brother. It's definitely interesting. But yeah, I am back on mute. Galaxy Venus is on you, sister.
Right on. We're gonna make it do what it do. Um, I think about when I was younger, much younger, a small child, my teenage years. There was this deep desire, this longing that I had um, to be loved because I wasn't being loved properly. Um, and in my opinion, I had never gotten it and I was missing it. And that's why I was longing so much for it. It's like I need this because it is so absent in my life right now. Um, that was a necessity for me. Um, and I can't see how that was a lustful thing, like I'm lusting to be loved. No, it was a deep longing, a deep desire because it was missing in my life, but it was needed. I was so unfulfilled because the presence of love was severely absent. Shout out to Seven. Did I see him join? Is he still here or did he drop down?
Nah, he never came up.
Oh, okay. I thought I had some. Goodness, my bad. But yeah, when I think about deep desire, we can deeply desire anything. I gave some examples earlier. Um, can desire a better lifestyle. We can desire materialistic things, clothes, shoes, cars. We can desire people. We can desire a certain character of people. Um, we can desire change. That's one thing I think that is a big thing that in life, as you grow and you mature, you have this deep desire and this longing for change. Um, if your life isn't the way that you desire for it to be, I've seen a lot of people go through that. So we get to this certain stage in our life, or a certain point, a certain age, and we have this deep longing for things to be different. Um, and so it's like we crave it and we need it. Hello, hello, hello. Greetings, beloved. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you so much. Introduce yourself, darling.
Hi, I am Aurora Gems, and also known as Charisma. My real name's Charisma, but Aurora Gems is my brand. Yeah, and thank y'all for letting me join. And
It's good to see you, darling. Tonight
yeah,
we are talking about this is the Sensual Eccentric podcast. We talk about a variety of different things. We are on episode 6 tonight. Yeah. But the topic tonight is to lust is the same as to long, and neither one is wrong. So I've been giving my opinion on the fine line between lusting and longing. And because it's natural to desire things, even when it comes to sexual desires, that to me, nothing is wrong with that as long as we're not harming or hurting anybody, as long as we're not going against anybody's wishes or disrespecting anybody. Anything that comes naturally to me just automatically has this beauty in it. And that's my take on it.
yes, and I totally can see where you're coming from that standpoint. I do feel like as far as lust, I feel like lust and like longing, it can be egoic. I feel like if you're not mindful and you don't have a certain awareness within your internal state, and you're not like centered in your heart and like really clear on what you actually desire, where your wounds stem from, why you crave certain things, I feel like we should know the inner workings of our why for ourselves personally. And I feel like it can be when you're unaware or you're jaded, it can come from a sense of ego and not like, actual genuine love. Because, so people, there's lots of, lust going around, but not all of it is like rooted within the heart center. It could be, like, you know what I'm saying?
I know
Like,
exactly what
I
you're
mean,
saying.
there's everybody has a kink, there's even fetishes. Like all it doesn't mean that all of that is necessarily within your highest good. Some things like someone mentioned it before. Certain things could lead you to detriment. Like I love cake. I have a sweet tooth here all day, but doesn't mean I can go crazy on cake. Like that's not gonna be beneficial. You know. Yeah, that was my take.
That's a really important factor that you brought up. Like, where does our desires come from as far as our heart space? Um, is it coming from a loving, genuine space? And that's why it kind of goes back to what I said about being disciplined. If we can be disciplined and self-control, more than likely we are aware of um where those desire the root of those desires, how to deal with those desires, and also how to obtain those desires in a healthy manner.
Absolutely. Because a lot of, I feel like a lot of our desires and what we are wanting, as far as, sensual, sexual desires, romantic, even platonic, I feel like a lot of that is rooted in what our mother and our father couldn't give us. And yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't. I mean, I feel like everyone is aware. I feel like everyone really is aware to a certain extent. I just feel like a lot of people may not get the chance to fully confront that stuff.
Good night, folks. Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much for being here, darling. I
Have a good
appreciate you
night.
so much, and I will see you again soon.
Yeah, it's crazy how much our sexual desires is actually so linked to our parents. Like, that's so crazy. Just the energy of, like, masculine, feminine energy, and you know how that connects back to our traumas
Now
that pushes
you
our
know you
desires.
done said a mouthful right there. You just you gonna jump right on in and get deep.
Yeah,
Yeah, but here,
So expound a little bit more about that.
about the traumas and like
Yeah,
how.
and yeah, expound a little bit more about that and share your thoughts.
Yeah, so like our partners that we manifest, this could be like platonic relationships too, but it really is most, I would say mostly like our sexual partners, whoever we see ourselves like marrying, or even if you just wanted to like have like a casual, some people want casual sex, even that, all of that is rooted from our relationships with our parents, because they're our first example of, our mother is that feminine expression, our fathers are that masculine. So whether or not they're like gods to us, like a baby, that's all they know is their mother, their them breastfeeding. Like my mom, like where's my mom, like that's all babies know in all species. So it's like when we lose that connection, there's a point of disconnect for all of us. So once we lose that a disconnecting point with our mothers or our fathers, it kind of like ties into what we are attracted to. So for example, um and it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive, but a lot of women who experience, let's say, an absent father, or anything centered around the father wound, women tend to be attracted. Oh, I like older men, or I just want to get done this way. Like, a lot of that is to find that freedom that we didn't, or we were unable to find from our fathers. Does that make sense? And like mother wounds, like
I
it. Oh my gosh,
absolutely know what you're talking about. You
the
going
mother,
there? I hear you.
the mother wound goes so deep. Like it's freaking crazy. Um, but yeah, a mother wound as a woman, it could be tied to just, being jealous of other women, or being triggered by other women who are successful, or um, just like, or you're either on like the end that I was on was just, I felt like I was being the mother all the time. I felt like I was breastfeeding my friends. I felt like I was over giving, but not really getting reciprocity, because to me, all the women that I see, they overgive themselves to men. So to me, I feel like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Like subconsciously, you're gonna be like, okay, that's the example. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Did you have any deep desires and longings at the time where you were nourishing the people that were around you? Did you
Um,
have any deep desires yourself?
as far as just in general, or like sexually. or sensually or both?
Either or, however you choose to answer. And after you do that, we are going to make way for our other panelists that has come up and allow them to introduce themselves and share their thoughts. Thank you so much for joining me. I am excited to hear from you.
I think as far as I feel like when I was going through the pit of most of it, I was completely unaware that I was going through it. So recently, I would say the past 2, 3 years, there was just been a lot of conscious awareness as far as my healing journey. And I will say the BDSM, the BDSM space is just such a sacred space. Like it was easy to judge it from the outside, like, oh, I would never want to be choked or spanked. Like, why would I even want any of these things? But I didn't realize subconsciously all of that was underneath it. Like, that was really tied to the mother wound of like wanting to be a stripper. And I did burlesque striptease, and like the just meeting all these people in this community of just sexual liberation. I'm just like, wow, these are the coolest people. The coolest people. It's such a safe space, like in the BDS spaces. Not to say all. I mean, it depends on what space you go into, but it was just so healing. And have someone hold me while I cried, like, but then to be shamed by my family. So, yeah, that was, I think, my outlet for all of that I went through on a conscious state was just seeking to be a stripper. Like, I love burlesque striptease. To me, it symbolizes just being naked, being open, not being shamed for who I am, and I get to express any kind of way I want without being shamed. That was for me. Yeah.
I say, for the people that noticed my voice, I mean, my facial expression when she talked about being a stripper, that wasn't a judgmental facial expression. That was like, that. See, you
I
talking now,
still
I'm
love
with
it.
you.
I still
So
love it.
so don't mistake the facial expression for judgment, because for the most part, I am not judgmental. Like, I try not to side eye certain stuff, but yeah. So let's hear from our other panelists. Welcome to the Sensual Eccentric podcast, episode 6, where we are talking about to lust is to long and neither one is wrong. What are your thoughts and your viewpoints so far from what you've been hearing, and how you feeling about everything?
Oh boy. Well, I won't be shocked because I have to go back to do what I was doing. To be honest with you, lust and desire, there's nothing wrong with it. But you have to have a control point because even lust and desire could we have both lust and desire. It can be very destructive as well. But my point is, and I'm gonna keep straight to the point, God has made us. The Creator has made us. Why have He make us lust and desire? I know that's something to think about. Some people will say, populate the earth and other. So that is my question. Why has the Creator input in us lust and desire? I mean, I'm out. Any question before I go?
I totally agree. What I was saying earlier is, because it comes naturally, I don't see anything wrong with it. And I also brought up the point of it being controlled, and just having a healthy balance of those desirable feelings. Because it's gonna happen. It is what it is. And if we can desire things non-sexually, and it's not a bad thing, why would it be bad to desire something sexual? It's desire. You're not harming anybody and not disrespecting anybody. Again, I will say, let
Hey,
your desires flow. Just have a healthy balance, be self-controlled. And you know, what I can say is, when it comes to lust, because lust is a sexual desire. Sensuality and sexual desires comes from, if I'm not mistaken, the solar plexus. That is where our creativity comes from, because from sexual desires, children, we bear children and we create children. So that is the seat of creativity. So you can always use that energy to create other things. So it can be very, very helpful and healthy if you
Huh?
use it
Put it in the right way.
properly.
If my point is, if the creator is okay with it, then I have no problem.
Sir,
Did
sir,
that
the
get so
creator.
jaded?
Hold on. I want to throw my mindset out there a little bit, because the creator was never okay with it, but throughout free will, you had the you as man and woman that made the bad decision to obtain the knowledge of lust and desire. That's why you go through what you go through. He's not all right with it, but he's all right with letting you operate on the free will. You get where I'm going with this right here? He's never
Where,
okay with it, but you
when
Yes,
are
I agree.
operating under free will. He's
one
never
moment,
okay with it,
I
but
hear you
you
loud and
are
clear.
operating on, but you
When
are
you
operating
say
under free will. So that has nothing to do with the creator. He didn't implement that into you. You had free will, so you made the choice to bite of the forbidden fruit and gain the knowledge of lust, desire, and have to long for what you lost because you made a bad decision. That's basic it. That's it. You long to go back to the Garden of Eden where everything was fine, fair, and farewell and good. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Because you obtained that. You had it in the beginning. But throughout your free will and your thinking that I can do it better, you you chose to bite of the forbidden fruit, and you obtain the knowledge of lust and desire. You desire to be like I, the Almighty Creator. That's your that's what you asked for. So now you long to get back to where you used to be because you had it. You had it in the palm of your hand. You obtained it. Now it's gone, never to be touched again. So you long for it. Simple as that.
And it's through the woman that it's fully accessed.
well, you're right.
Nah, for the lust of a woman is the
Hold on,
downfall of a man.
everybody.
For the
Everybody,
lust of a woman
hold on,
is.
hold on,
Go ahead.
hold on, hold on. The host wants to redirect. I can tell she wants to redirect. Everybody, chill.
no,
Let her redirect.
I'm gonna let it ride because he hasn't spoken in a minute, so he definitely deserves the opportunity to speak freely. I'm gonna let it rock out. But I
Okay,
appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I
okay.
want him to share his thoughts. That's important.
When she speaking, y'all gotta stop. When she, if y'all hear her speaking, y'all hear her talking, I don't care if y'all mid sentence. Please stop. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
when I want to speak, because I mute my microphone when everybody is speaking. So if there is a time that I want to interject, I'll put my finger up, and that means everybody just stop for a minute. So yeah, but yeah, continue. I was thinking some stuff, but I didn't want to cut him off. I want him to be able to finish his thoughts before I interject or anything like that.
Ma'am, it's all good. Let's continue on with the show. I told you I'm loved by many, but secretly hated by a lot in this space. And I'm not a content creator. It's just I pointed out like it is. You know what I'm saying? And look, if you don't learn anything from me, real is rare and fake is everywhere. Understand that. See, I'm deep south. I live in the deep south, real south, the real south. So my thought process is totally different from a lot of people that long and lust for the fame. I don't need it. I don't want it. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. But go ahead, y'all.
I want to ask you a question, dearie. With the statement that you just made, I am curious as to why you just made that statement. You reiterated, I'm loved by a few, secretly hated by many, and so on and so forth. That particular statement right there, what caused you to say that statement and express that at this particular time?
Uh, because it's a revolving door. It's a cycle, man. Look, the way I am and just straightforward. I'm just a straightforward person. If I see something, I say something. If something come across me and I don't see that is right, I say it. Real is rare and fake is everywhere. I'm loved by many and disliked by a lot. I'm just telling you. Even though I'm in the vicinity of certain people and they allow me to do certain things, does not mean they like me. The thing is to make an exhibit A out of something, but you can't get it because other people, the ones that I'm loved by, say, "Hey, that kind of right." You see what I'm saying? Because I see the ones that try to please someone, they gon' they wishy washy, they bandwagon jumpers. They gon' hey say cut that out, don't do this, don't say that. It is not good for show business. But the ones who truly believe in a certain thing and have morals, standards, and boundaries set, know they're gonna say, "Hey, I might not like this person, but I can't deny what he's saying. He right. He just right about it." And then if I'm not right now, I can take constructive criticism to where you can inform me and teach me how to do better. But some people in these places, in these spaces called YouTube, are not capable, and they will never be capable because they just won't go. They are the end all be all. Their mindset is the right thing, and they are aimed to cultivate your mind or colonize your mind into thinking or processing things into the way they believe. That's why we have cults and everything. You got some people that are not free thinkers. They can't think for themselves. They can't decipher. Okay, I'm around this person. They ain't good for me to hang around like at family barbecues, but they are good for business. Some people can't figure that out. Some people I'll deal with you. I know you don't like me, but I'll deal with you because we can make good money together. But we ain't going to church on Sunday together. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to mess up the church out like that. You know what I'm saying? So we be fighting in the
Okay.
church out. Yeah.
Okay, I hear you loud and clear, but yet and still, I don't understand why you chose, and I'm trying to understand why did you particularly say that statement at that time? Because in my understanding, to make that statement would say that somebody here in our midst is secretly hating. And if that's not the case, then there was no reason to say that. So I'm wondering, is there something that you are feeling? Do you perceive something? Why did you choose to make that statement at that particular time?
Okay.
I'm
At
just
that particular time. Okay. You remember when I told you from the beginning, I am a certain type of person, and people have seen what I have done in these spaces on YouTube, right? So they done built a pattern in their they have built a pattern in their mind that I'm going to do a certain thing on time all the time because I'm consistent with what I do, right? But if you are assuming that I'm going to do it, and then you interject yourself, you insert yourself into certain things, which I'm not doing at that point in time, now it's time for me to do it, or for me to walk off. You see what I'm saying? You don't
absolutely.
be the person. Yeah, you don't be the person that says he's going to do this. I might not feel like doing it, but if you are wanting a show, I can give it now. You see what I'm saying?
Do
I'm
you feel like
I'm that
that's what happened tonight?
well, I was the only person to talking, and I don't think anybody was interjecting. If somebody felt that way, they could have slowed their mind processes down and say it might have not been that way. Instead of assuming, because assuming makes an ass out of you and me. I don't never want to assume something. I want to be directly on target and say, okay, this is what this is, and that ain't what that is. But if I'm gonna assume, I can say, I think this is about to happen, so I can go overboard and say this. And then what I'll be doing is projecting my mindset on other people that have no wherewithal of who you are. So you poison the well already. So if you want poison, shit, I dump it off in the well. Then I give you what you asked for.
Okay, I hear you loud and clear. There may be a misunderstanding, so I want to put that out there. Um, I hear what you're saying
No,
loud and
it wasn't. You did nothing. You
I
didn't
hear
do
you.
nothing. Nobody else. Nobody did nothing.
I hear you loud and clear. I want to make sure that we all feel heard, that we all feel respected, and that we all feel valued and welcome, because that's what we are here for. I don't need people to agree with everything that I say. It's okay for you to have a difference of opinion or a different perspective. Um, this is not a gang. We ain't in a gang, and everybody that think like me and feel the way that I feel, come join my gang. No, that's not what we doing here. So I want to be clear about that. Your perspective, your thoughts, and your opinion is very much welcome here. Um, unless I say hell fuck no. And right now I'm not saying hell fuck no, so you good. So just gonna get that out the way and get that clear. So we all good. Everything is good.
That's fine with me. I'm an open-minded human. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. I'm all right. I'm
We
good.
all all
Best way to.
right. Y'all
But
ever watch that 70 show? We're
I'm
all
good.
all
You
right.
all right? You. Yeah. Let's get back to the topic. You didn't do anything. Nobody done anything yet.
I, I
So go ahead.
I wanted to make sure that you understood that you are valued, that you are heard, and that you are welcome here. And that's important for me to do up in the space that I am holding.
Yes,
With
ma'am. I
that,
understand your graces, and look, I know my value. I know my worth. You know what I'm saying? So it's all right. I thank you for the glory. You know what I'm saying? I thank you for the glory. You know what I'm saying? I know my value. I got you.
right on. Okay, right on. That's what's up. That's all I'm saying. Like, dap it up. Boom. um, but getting back to um I think, yeah, she's still here. What do you want us to call you by, hon? Your name that's on the screen?
Oh, me?
Yes.
You can call me. Everybody always. You can call me Gems. That's easier.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because I swear I was thinking that. I'm like, can I
Everybody
just call
butcher my
you
name, so I'm used to it.
Kim? You brought up a very interesting aspect of the root of lust and where it comes from. And I think that is very important for people to understand and discover um, about the topic itself, even if it doesn't have anything to do with you personally, because it comes from somewhere. All desire has a root, but to be aware of oneself and the way that oneself functions and operates and navigates through life is very important. I see Mr. G.E. Moore has joined us. Thank you for coming back. I'm glad you were actually able to come back. we've been chopping it up quite a bit, talking about this lusting is to long thing. It's a pretty interesting topic. Not everybody agrees that lusting and longing is the same thing, but we are definitely sharing our thoughts about how we feel about it and how it relates to us.
Sis, can you see everybody on the stage? Let me know if you can see everybody.
If I'm not mistaken, there are six of us, right? Including your picture because you're up. The
Okay,
six of
okay,
us.
okay. I'm making sure. All right, cool. I'm in the back.
Yeah, so my question I want to ask you, Mr. Moore. Um, have you ever lusted for something or someone? Have you ever longed for something? What's the difference? Is there a difference for you? And do you feel like is it wrong for you when it comes to the lusting versus the longing? How do you feel about that in general?
I do believe that there's a separation. Um, the way I see it, yeah, I have lusted. Uh, I think it's part of the human condition. Um, but for me, the lust and the longing are separated because of the sexual desire, the sexual aspect of the lust. So, um, let me get your question right again. Ask me that again.
The first part was um, is there a difference? Do you feel like it's wrong? And have you ever done either or?
Okay, the difference. Yeah, I believe there's a difference. Um, the longing for me was seen to be more of a material need uh, or physical desire. And, the lust, it takes its own form. It's more of a, it's rooted in sexual desire, sexual energy, whether negative or not. Um, so, as far as whether or not I believe it's wrong, it's like anything. If you put too much energy into it, if you allow it to consume too much of you, your thought processes, your motivations, yeah, then it's a problem. It becomes problematic. But no, I don't think that there's to like anything wrong with lusting after your partner, or even for that matter, lusting after uh, the object of your desire in a controlled manner. So if it takes over, if it consumes you, then you're dealing with an issue, and that is a problem. For the most part, I think that is healthy.
Absolutely, I agree. We were saying earlier, I personally mentioned that as long as there is a balance, then there's a beauty in longing for something because desire is natural. Um, and I also said, like, the same thing that you said, like, when there's no self control, and there's no discipline behind what you're desiring, that's when it becomes problematic. But I want to ask the panel, um, and you guys don't have to answer if you don't want to. Um, has there ever been a time in your life to where lust or longing, or a word that I used earlier was yearning for something, because to yearn for something is a desire. Have you ever yearned, longed, or lusted that it was so intense that it was problematic? And then have you ever done so to where it wasn't problematic and um it was healthy and you were able to obtain the thing that you desired? And I'm gonna go first since I'm already on screen. Um, Absolutely. As far as unhealthy, on both aspects, the lusting and the longing. Um, I actually had a pornography addiction in my younger years of life. Uh, that thing right there was something serious. Like, man, the details are crazy. Yeah, I had no discipline and no self control as far as how to balance those desires. It got crazy for a good little minute. You know, I wasn't harming anybody, um, but it was just a lot of pornography being consumed, like late at night to where you want to go to bed, but you still watching. It's like, what the fuck? And then when it came to longing, um, I was desperate for attention at a young age. Um, there was, I stated previously, there was a deep absence of love and affection in my life. And so I craved it so much to where um, I wanted it so much to where I felt worthless. And because I didn't have it, it led to suicidal thoughts and things of that nature. So, in those aspects, those desires were so intense that it was a bit much to deal with. Um, I have had uh, segments in my life to where those desires were balanced and it pushed me to obtain certain goals in life. Um, there was, I talked about earlier, one of the biggest desires that I think is so important is the desire and the longing and the yearning for change when something is not the way that you want it to be as far as life. And that one was a big thing for me also as a young woman, maturing into an adult, because you can be grown or you can be an adult but not be grown. So I was an adult but I wasn't grown because I wasn't functioning with a healthy balanced mindset. um, I wasn't authentic, I wasn't aware of who I was. But once I became a mature adult, then my desires were more balanced and it led me to um, accomplish certain things in life and have certain goals that to where it wasn't encompassing, it wasn't overtaking me, I wasn't engulfed by the desires, but it was more of a driving force, a motivation to get shit done, so to speak. We're going to go across the board to Gems, GE Moore, and then down towards the bottom and let everybody that chooses to answer.
I think for me, um, I feel like, man, it was probably the toxic relationship I was in. That was a long while ago. That was when I was like 19, and it lasted for like 3 years. I think I craved that, deeply craved love and validation so much that I just sought this person out so heavily, and that person actually got me into, that was just a lot of darkness. Like, they got me into a lot of, that definitely showed me my shadow side, my darkness. And I was just so attracted to it. I mean, I would just get into all these little conversations, interactions with men, like usually online, right? That was just so unhealthy. Like, and I've always been attracted to men who just have lots of darkness. Like, it was just alluring to me. Like, it just lured me in, and I would just like seek all of the sexual advances with these men that just have this big darkness. And it just, I don't know, it was so fascinating to me. I think on a more of a subconscious level. And now it makes sense. It makes sense as I'm integrating my shadow. It really makes sense looking back. That was unhealthy, and being an empath and like doing energy work, actually feeling the transfer of that energy and knowing that, okay, it's time to, like, you gotta like do some inner work. You have to look within because this is not healthy. um yeah. and something that I desired. I forgot what was the second part of the question. Something I desired that.
One moment, hon. Do you now understand where the attraction to that darkness, why it was so prevalent at that time? Are you
Oh,
aware of that right now?
absolutely. Absolutely. It's a bundle. It's a bundle of things. Yeah, I don't know if I
No,
want to
I'm
get
just
to.
asking. You don't have to expound on that. But the second question, unless you choose to, but the second part of the question was the unhealthy ways for lusting and learning, longing, if there was any, and then have you had any healthy experiences with lusting and longing, and what was that experience like?
Oh, absolutely. Straight up manifestation. Straight up manifestation. Literally. Like, I did end up back home, but when I did leave home, I was led to go to Tampa. I was living on the streets and just really just being out in nature, just harnessing energy, and literally just doing whatever I wanted to. It don't matter how crazy. I literally did 1 week of nothing but pizza, like crazy shit like that. I literally did all nothing but ice cream. Like I would just eat nothing but ice cream, nothing but sweets, because I just really needed that love. But I was still doing some internal releasing, so I would just do whatever I want to, and just going around and just being free. And that liberation is just that direct portal to manifestation. I mean, I manifested. I don't know if I want to go too much into it on here, but I mean, I manifested literally like 4K out of doing nothing but. I did do prayer work, so just prayer work and just literally nothing, straight desire, whatever you desire. And I still think there's a lot of things coming up, literally from my childhood, of things that I desire that I've not yet fully enveloped, I would say. But yeah, that's that.
Thank you for sharing, dearie. I
Of
appreciate
course.
you, beloved. Mr. Moore.
Can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, your
Okay.
mic is on, and go for what you know.
Okay. Give me the questions again, please.
When it comes to lusting and longing, um, has there ever been a time period in your life where either of those things or both of those things were um, like destructive, or you became engulfed because of it? And if there was a time that either or both, that it was you had healthy experiences with it because of your
Uh,
desire.
it is definitely something that I've had to learn to deal with, to control as a younger man. Uh, I would find myself my lust. It it didn't equate into good relationships. As although I was in relationships, I really had no interest really in controlling my lust or being in control of my lust, which led me to step outside of my relationship often. And at the time, as I was going through this, as I was living this life in my 20s, in my early 20s, and into my early 30s, I didn't see it as a problem. This was me. This is me living my man's life. This was me doing my thing. I wasn't really giving any consideration to consequences, to the fallout, to the harm that I was bringing into other people's lives as a result of my actions, as a result of me being in pursuit of my lustful ways. And so it's something that with time, as I grew to understand more of myself, and as I grew to place more of a standard on myself, I understood like the harm that I was causing. And yeah, so yeah, that led to a lot of self-examination. And oddly enough, in the midst of that, pulling back and examining myself and understanding where the harm was being caused and making the steps to address it, I found myself having a harder time in the relationship that I was in, understanding then that I was evolving beyond that point. And it was a revelatory moment, for me and for myself.
So you're saying once you became aware that, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Did you see it as you said you recognize the consequences? Is that what you said?
The consequences, I recognize the harm that I was causing. You know, a lot of
So,
times when we're making these moves and doing it, when I was younger, I wasn't considering that my actions were harmful to anyone. So, it was a consideration. It was something that I had to learn.
so when you became aware of those things, it pushed you away from the relationship.
Um, More so, I believe that the introspective person that I was becoming, I wasn't as fun. As I reined in those lustful desires, um, you know, I used to have card parties at my house every weekend. We used to kick it at the crib. As I reined those lustful desires in, I lost interest in that constant need for stimulation. And I may have lost
That
interest.
is a very important aspect of how lust drives, like the energy of it and the different things that we get ourselves into. So that's an important factor, because you say you wasn't as fun. So it's like when I hear that, my interpretation of the lustful lifestyle and operating in that energy produce like this wild, carefree, like vibrant energy. And when you became aware as you grew, it's like the maturity, like when maturity starts setting in, it was like it was no longer important.
Yeah, yeah.
On the
Um,
opposite end of the spectrum, have you had lustful or longing desires that were healthy and beneficial to you in any way?
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, yeah. Anybody who's lucky enough to be in a relationship with someone who can help you help explore those those lustful desires in a healthy way. Uh, you know, when it becomes about more than just the physical connection. Yeah, it becomes a moment where you can really evolve within yourself and take yourself and your relationship to another level.
Ashe, this sounds similar to what James was talking about as far as manifestation. So I completely understand that.
I'm about to my phone is about to die.
Would you like to give your final thoughts? Because after we did this, I was going to go to the final thoughts. Would you like to give your final thoughts before you leave us this evening?
No, I'm just glad that I got a chance to jump in. I had to step away, so I missed a lot of the conversation. But I appreciate you engaging, entertaining, relevant, education. So, love you, dear. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you for your presence. I appreciate you. And whenever you can join us again, come back and visit us and share your thoughts and your life experiences. I like being on screen with you.
That's what's up, man.
Peace. To our next panelist, what are your thoughts like as far as um, unhealthy, lustful, or longing desires? Have you ever had those, an experience with that, and what was that like for you? And have you ever had an experience where longing or lusting for something was beneficial to you in any way?
Um, so you're speaking to me, respect. I really didn't get a chance to answer the first question, but so I guess I'm trying. Um,
Okay, so tonight's topic is to lust is to long, and neither one is wrong. And I was given examples of, for me, the fine line between, because when you lust, you're automatically longing because it's a desire. But when we long for something, it's not automatically lust because lust is pretty much boxed into sexual desires. But in my opinion, neither one is wrong. If you can have a healthy balance and self control and discipline, and if you're not harming or disrespecting anybody, a natural desire is just something that's going to occur, and we just maneuver through life with it and keep it pushing.
okay. So when it comes to lust, it can be very dangerous. It can be very dangerous based upon the intention. See, the thing about it is, what turns it basically into the sin of lust is when you incorporate the gluttony aspect of it. What is the reason that you're lusting? Are you lusting for selfish intentions? Are you lusting because you want to be pleased? Or are you lusting because you get pleasure from pleasing? And I don't mean sexually necessarily. I mean just being of servitude. If you want to take it to the sexual realm, then that's individual. But when it comes to lusting, the only thing that really makes it dangerous is the intentions, like with a lot of things. You have to really watch the intentions of what's taking place. That's the main key factor that you need to watch out for, I would say. But I digress. My mic is muted. If you wanted me to answer the second question, I can.
Yes, the questions were has longing for something or lusting for something ever had what people may call a negative aspect on your life? Did it affect you in some kind of way to where it was just a lot to deal with? And on the opposite end of the spectrum, have you ever lusted or longed for something and it was beneficial to you in a particular way?
Well, when you say the word lust, things that have been beneficial for me for the most part in my life, I wouldn't consider it to be a lustful factor. I would consider it to be more so of a desire, intention, more so than lustful. Uh, now, I mean, of course, being human, I mean, what person has not gone through this? So I would say my main thing is how I know how evenly and hand in hand that lust and let me see, lust and addiction go hand in hand. What you lust for is what you can become addicted to, right? So just like anything, too much water floods the crops, not enough makes the world a desert. So we all know it's about balance. But the fact is that most people walking in the flesh do not have that balance. Most people don't. Unless you study in some kind of Buddhist type or whatever, most people are going to fall victim. Why? Because it surrounds you everywhere you go. There's not a commercial you can't turn on, not a song you can't listen to, not a channel you can't go to, not a back chat, not a website you can go to and find yourself inside.
Hold on one second, Seven. Um, it seems like either you're talking really, really close to the mic, it's a little bit of like,
How do I sound? How do I sound? Okay. Yeah, maybe it's just the location of it. Um, so I'm just saying, as far as it all depends on what the intentions are, because intentions have a direct connection to addiction. And what you can become addicted to is what it is that you've been lusting for. Um, But the fact is that, I mean, we've all gone through dealing with, lustful feelings. That's not the issue. The issue is the discipline that that person has. Most people don't have it. Most people do not have that discipline unless you study in something special in your religion or something. Most people do not have it. And even then, a lot of people fall victim, even when they are calling themselves nuns and everything else. So, it is what it is on that note. So I just wanted to put that there.
thank you for sharing, beloved. I appreciate you. Our next panelist, what have you had any experiences with lusting and longing having or being an issue in your life? And have you had any experiences with it being beneficial in your life?
All right, can you hear me? It looks like you can. Okay. Well, so far, me in my life, I really haven't had no negative or any type of issue with those type of thoughts or feelings. Well, so far, because I guess it's because when I'm good at managing and multitasking and keeping my mind, occupied on other things, well, at least on other things that either other things that are more meaningful and beneficial and that are in my interest, so I just so I just haven't really had that type of problem. But as you were saying earlier about when it comes to lust, that can either, well, like I said, lust can be a negative or a positive depending on whatever it is or even on who it is. So I think it's all about how you manage on how you manage it, and it's all about how you manage it and how you choose to manage it, because if you don't, if you don't, like, whatever you're lusting, desiring, or wanting can end up, taking over you, and that can be a not so good outcome usually. Yeah, but all in one, I think it's about how you choose to handle whatever your lusts and desires are. That's my word on that.
I understand. Was that your first time speaking? I was expecting the other person to answer, but if this is, I believe that this is your first time speaking, right?
Yes, ma'am, it is. And by the way, it's me, Braxton, has Snake Eyes from yesterday's stream. I'll turn on my camera because you can see how I
Well,
look.
thank it's so good to see you again. So I was well, you've already introduced yourself. I can't say anything. That's how come I didn't know who you were. But thank you for coming back and joining us. It is so good to see you. Have
Hey, you
you
too.
been doing your affirmations in the mirror?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
Have you noticed the
Mhm.
difference?
Yes, I have. I'm trying to turn on my cameras. You can see me a bit, but yeah, but yes, I noticed the difference very much.
That is great news. Cool. Are you liking it? Have you found it challenging at all or anything like that?
No, I haven't. And plus, I'm used to little challenges here and there. So hey, no problem.
Cool. Are you gonna stick with it?
You bet I am.
That's what's up. I'm glad to see you here and that you actually joined the panel. That is a pleasure. I count that an honor. What was those all of the thoughts that you want to share? Would you like to share anything else?
All right, sure. Okay, I'll share another thing, and the other thing I'll say is whatever your likes, desires, or interests are, make sure you know that's exactly what you're after and what you want, and don't lose sight of it, and keep focused. So just don't lose track of it.
Ashe, thank you so much. Very well spoken. And to our last panelist, we are going to get your thoughts as far as experiences with longing and lusting. Have there been some unpleasant experiences? Have there been pleasant experiences? And after that, we are going to go ahead and end this and share our final thoughts. He may not be with us still. Okay, so let's go ahead and share our final thoughts. We're gonna start at the top with Jim's is not at the top anymore. So we're gonna do 7, and then we're gonna do Snake Eyes, and then Jim's, and then me. Before Jim's, if our other panelist is present, we'll let them give their final thoughts as well.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Thank you. I don't know if you can hear me.
You're welcome. Okay, who's speaking now? Is Snake Eyes speaking or is 7 speaking?
Uh,
7, that's you?
yeah, I'm at the bottom. Um,
Okay, it switched because you were at the top at first.
yeah,
So,
that, I appreciate it. Yeah, I was just saying thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. That's all.
it's always a pleasure to have you here, dearie. Thank you so much for sharing space with us tonight. Let's do Snake Eyes, and then we're gonna do Gems, and then we're gonna close out with yours truly. Final
Okay.
thoughts.
Okay. All right. Well, final thoughts are, well, appreciate you having me up here, and I was gonna come up here, like I said, I was, and it was a good panel. It was a good panel, a good convo, a good discussion and topic, an interesting topic. And you said you usually try to go live on Wednesday, so and I'll try to be in the next one too. And though we don't have the time to talk about it now, but maybe in the next one or in the one after next, I'll add on and talk about more when I was telling you in yesterday's stream, about the being differences, and the about being different subculture, in the gothic subculture, and being black and being a part of it, and so on and so on. So yeah, so I'll be more than happy to bring that up in your other panels. So.
It was such a pleasure to see you, dearie. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm happy you've been doing your affirmations and loving on yourself. That was one of the previous topics. Um, if you guys are not following the channel, follow the channel, like the episodes, share, tell people about it, and go back and watch some of the shorts and the episodes, because we be talking some good shit over here. What's up, Jim? Share your final
Yeah.
thoughts, darling.
I realized my mic was on mute because after he was done, I said that sounds interesting what he was just talking about. What he just mentioned about the next live, or I think. Um, but yeah, I just appreciate you having me on here. And I think all in all, mindset, just knowing your intentions and knowing how you're actually, knowing the root causes of your actions and why you move a certain way. And knowing the power of the subconscious mind is so important for navigating your reality. But I feel like from there, like, lust, love, exploration is important. So it's not to demonize any of these things. It's all just about being centered, being balanced, and actually having a deep connection with yourself to where you're actually healing wounds and releasing things that don't serve you as you elevate with your life. So, yeah.
I say, um, in conclusion, my final thought is I usually reiterate something that I've already stated. Um, so my final thought is as long as you are not harming anyone, are not disrespecting anyone, are not dishonoring anyone, if you can have a balance, let the energy of love and lust flow and allow it to create and align with the things that you need or desire in life, because desire is healthy, it's natural. We just have to have a balance and with our emotions and our feelings and how we're operating and maneuvering in life. This has been the Sensual Eccentric Podcast, episode 6, where the topic was to lust is to long, and neither one is wrong. I am your host, Galaxy Venus. I will see you all on the next episode. One love, much love. All the time. See y'all soon. Mwah.
Bye.
Have a good evening. Peace out. Have a good evening. Take care.
What you want, and then I will make it real indeed. Don't say, time to go. No, I know you got some to spare. We've been fighting feeling when it's obvious that we both care. So take me to the moon. I wanna be with the stars. Send me